Um, okay, rolling on both.
Okay, cool. Okay, so how does it feel to be the first girl to win 3 gold medals in a row at the X Games? Can you recap what the moment felt like?
The X Games are one of the longest running events in our sport, and this next season will be my 15th X Games. I've really grown up and matured into the competitor that I am through those events. And I have a number of titles now. There I've got over 10 medals, and this last year I became the first woman to win 3 consecutive gold medals there. So, it's really just kind of sorry, I'm getting warmed up here. Okay. Yeah, I've really grown up through the X Games. They've supported our sport for the last 15 years, and I have over 10 medals there now. In this last season, I became the first woman to win 3 gold medals in a row. And it's just really amazing to make these little steps in our sport where, it gives other people something to aspire to. It's cool to be part of a sport that you get to shape and you get to lead. It's exciting to have a part in the progression of the sport, because that's the cool thing about snowboarding. Even if you get these titles, there's someone right behind you that's kind of progressing and fighting to take those spots. So it's a great landmark right now, but I look forward to seeing what the sport does in the future.
Okay, how does it feel to be, basically, when I wrote the question, it sounds really bad now that I read it. What I first
We can go
said
back
was,
and forth.
how does it feel to be on top in a male-dominant sport? I don't know if that sounds weird, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
you're one of the top people in this sport that usually, males take over. So how does that feel, and what obstacles do you have to overcome during your whole career? And do you have any advice for anyone who is in your position? So
Cool.
we'll
As
just,
like a young woman kind of.
as a young woman, yeah.
Cool. When I started snowboarding, it wasn't cool. I always say I started before it was cool. There was no X Games, there was no Olympics. I never had any hopes of even competing in those things. I just did it because I loved it. And it was the first year it was even allowed on my mountain when I started. I was one girl kind of in a pack of guys on the hill. And the sport's really progressed into what we see today at the X Games, in the Olympics. And I think unlike some other sports, we don't have a smaller ball, a bigger ball. We don't have different equipment. We don't have things that make it different than what the men are doing. We compete on the same half pipes. We compete in the same jumps as the men. So it's kind of unique in a sense where, we're actually treated as very equal in the sport. There's been plenty of women who've gone before me to fight for that equality. But all the same, I look around now and I see where the sport's come, and there's whole packs of girls out on the mountains now. And it's really amazing to show women what is possible to do on a snowboard, because our progression of the tricks is a little bit behind the men. And perhaps some of the Shaun Whites and some of the bigger male names are more popular. But at the end of the day, we do the same exact thing, and I don't think there is a ceiling for us. And so, my job and my privilege is to kind of fight on that front line and continue to carry the sport forward and make sure that my ceiling can become the next generation's floor, and they can take snowboarding where I never could and progress it right alongside the male's progression.
Okay, so what keeps you motivated during this whole thing?
Cool.
Yeah.
I've had one of the most successful careers in snowboarding, and I step back at the end of the day, and I know that you can never be the best snowboarder. People are always going to be progressing. People are always going to be, trying to get to where you are and meeting and surpassing you. And nothing is impossible for us, and we don't know what that cap looks like. So there's so much unknown. There's so much new land to be taken. I think that's what really inspires me, is that we don't know what's possible to do on a snowboard, and I love to carry that torch forward and see.
Okay, and who would you consider like your rock or like your mentor?
I think behind every great athlete is a team of great people. I really have an amazing support team from friends, family, staff, PTs, trainers, coaches, it's a whole gamut of people, and I really wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for those people investing in me. I think my coaches play a really big role in my life and encouraging me and believing in me the days I don't believe in myself, and affirming me and telling me what I'm capable of, and constantly pushing me forward and constantly challenging me. They probably have the biggest kind of role in my life, in helping me, on the technical aspects. But I think for me, my faith and my spirituality is probably the biggest rock that I have that I depend on. I think it's really easy to get your identity mixed up in what you do, and we're all kind of looking for that significance in life. And if we don't find that outside of what we do, you're not going to have a very sustainable or enjoyable career, whether it's sports or business, school, anything. So for me, really kind of understanding my identity has been one of my biggest assets as a competitive athlete, and what's really carried me forward.
Okay. Do you have a certain routine that you do before any race? Like, are you superstitious at all?
I'm not superstitious. There's so many variables, and there's so many things I can't control. I always say, on a good day, I can tell myself what to do and do it. So it's I kind of go about things in a very methodical, mechanical-minded way. If there's one thing I've learned from all my Olympic experience, is that if you don't have it by the time you get there, you're not going to get it. And so I make sure I'm as prepared as I can be. It looks kind of like we're risk takers out there, but we're very calculated risk takers. And we know exactly what kind of tricks we're supposed to do. We know exactly what our runs are supposed to look like. You do some visualization at the top of the runs. You work out your problem areas in your mind. And I honestly kind of fight to create my own environment where I'm not distracted by the announcers, by the competitors, by the situations, by the weather. So I can do that, and I do that through music. I listen to music during my runs, and it really helps me stay focused on the task at hand.
Okay. If you were not snowboarding, what would you be focused on? Because I think in the email it said that you're really into like health and nutrition. So can you picture yourself doing that as a career, or if you don't, what would you want to do?
My whole family, they own restaurants. If I wasn't a pro snowboarder, I'm sure I would own a restaurant. I'm kind of like the black sheep of my family. I don't ski and I don't own a restaurant. I don't know if I'll ever get into that later in life. For me, really making the most of your situation and applying yourself is something that I was taught from a young age. That's something I love to encourage people into. Right now, I love to do kind of like motivational speaking and help inspire youth to really be their full potential. And I also started a nonprofit organization that focuses on creating opportunity for kids. So I would imagine when I'm done snowboarding, I won't be removed from the sport. I'll continue to have a place of influence and really create opportunity, because I believe all one needs to be great is opportunity sometimes. And through my foundation, we give the resources to see kids achieve their dreams in snowboarding and be successful snowboarders and successful people in turn, because I think sports is a really great way to grow up, mature, and learn about life. It teaches you things that are very transferable to the real world.
What's the foundation called?
Yeah.
My foundation is called the Kelly Clark Foundation, appropriately named, and it's we aim at making youth successful through snowboarding. Over the last 3 years, we've given out $50,000 to kids all across the states for tuition to go to mountain schools, and we also partner with snow-related nonprofits and fund their snow programs. So we're targeting kind of high-level competitive snowboarders and entry-level. We just want to get more kids out on the hill. Snow sports aren't always the most accessible. They're expensive, and so we aim to break down those financial barriers and see kids have the resources to make their dreams a reality.
Awesome.
So if you want to talk about your Olympic medals, and
Sure.
then like when, what year it was and where you were, and then how are you preparing for the Olympics coming up, and then just talk about that.
I went to my first Olympics when I was 18 years old. They were held in Salt Lake City. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew I had a lot of potential if I was able to land the runs, but you don't necessarily know how you're going to perform in that kind of high level platform. So I went and I actually ended up winning the first gold medal for the U.S. for that Olympic Games, which was emotional, amazing, incredible, to say the least. I was 18 years old and I was on top of my sport. I had done everything that was in my heart to do, and it was amazing, and it really caused me to kind of really develop and grow and mature into my motivations. And right now I've had a 15-year competitive snowboard career, and I've been to 3 Olympics now. I went gold in Salt Lake City. I went for the gold in Torino, and I ended up in 4th. And then I got back up on the podium in Vancouver with a 3rd place finish. And honestly, I can say today that I probably enjoy snowboarding more than ever. I'm not doing it to, define who I am. I think a lot of people look at the Olympics and they kind of look at it as a destination. But in all my Olympic experience, I've really found that they're just a great addition to an amazing snowboard career. They're an amazing opportunity to prepare, to sow into something, to have vision, to set goals, to see if you can prepare 4 years for your 30-second run. It's a really unique experience, and I've been really thankful for all of those. No one from the States has been to 3 Olympic halfpipe teams for women's snowboarding, apart from myself, and now I'm going for 4. So I'm looking at making my 4th Olympic team this next year, and like I said before, if I've learned one thing, you don't get it when you get there at the Olympics. You have to do the preparation, and a lot of the kids now are 10, 15 years younger than me, and so I just have to stay more on my game than ever. But I'm constantly challenged. I'm constantly pushing my ability and doing all the prep work to allow myself to do all of the new tricks to take my snowboarding where it needs to go. So yeah, I've been to 3 Olympics, represented the U.S., and it's been a privilege, and I'm looking forward to one more round in Russia this next year. Sorry, kind of long answers. Are these okay?
No,
No, it's
they're
totally
like
fine,
great
yeah.
answers.
Okay.
Like literally, I'm like, yeah,
Okay,
keep
cool.
her here.
Yeah, first one's in the morning. I'm trying to get my
Longer.
brain going.
Talked about this. I guess the last question I have, like, is there a quote that you live by? Like, there are some people that, they have like a motivational quote
Or a motto,
or a or a motto. And do you have one?
I have a lot of things that have inspired me over the years, and I think as I grow, those things change. But for me, probably one of my core values is that nothing is impossible. I was told from a young age that I could do anything that I wanted to do. Till I wanted to be a pro snowboarder, and my dad was like, anything but that. But it's just something that's kind of been at the core of me, where we don't know our potential, and given the opportunity, we get to pursue that. And so I've tried to make the most of my circumstances and really be as faithful as I can be with the opportunities that I've been given. And I just think sky is the limit and nothing is impossible, and my sport speaks to that. My passion speaks to that. My history speaks to that. So I don't know where that'll take me in the future, but I'm excited to find out.
Sweet. That's a perfect ending, too.
Yeah, just wrap it up. Speaking sound bites.
You've done this before. Was that all?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, that
cool.
was
All right. So now if we can just get some liners.
Sure.
Just straight to the lens here, and then it's kind of template. Just, hey, what's up, guys? So your name, and then you're watching Fan La La.
Fan La La.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Kelly Clark here, and you're watching Fan La La.
Perfect. And I really like the way that ended, so I don't think we need to do like a thanks, guys. Be sure and catch me on the slopes or something like that.
yeah, no, because that ending was really
No,
good.
that was good. That
That
was
was
good.
really
And the opening was good, and I think we're good.
I had a question, like, for me. Just because I was curious.
Well, I'm going to roll anyway.
Okay.
So.
How do you practice during the summer? Like, do you go anywhere specific to practice, or I don't know, maybe stupid, but
No, it's I get that question every day. Yeah, it's very it's a good question. I think it's easy to see snowboarding during the winter months, but it's always winter somewhere. And we go and we find the snow. In the summertime, I'm on snow about 2 months. I go up to Mount Hood, Oregon, which is a glacier. And then I also go down and I spend about a month in New Zealand. So we're always out there on the snow, finding half pipes, training. But at the same time, there's a lot of things you can do off the snow. I do a lot of other sports to kind of keep me in shape. I surf, I road bike. I do a lot of fitness stuff to get me ready for the on-snow training. I was going to say something else too. We also do a lot of training on trampolines and into airbags. So we kind of create safe environments for us to learn air awareness. So everything will translate to the snow eventually, but we spend a lot of time, doing backflips on trampolines and different sort of things, spotting our landings. So by the time we get to snow, we're prepared to work on the tricks that we want to.
Cool.
Cool.
New Zealand. Oh,
It's worth the trip.
it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's as beautiful as it looks in all
In the pictures.
In the
Yeah.
pictures. It's like a postcard every day when you wake up there. It's awesome.
This is cool.
Except it's cold and dark when we go there.
Yep.
In the winter, you're 12-hour sunlight here, and you go there and it gets dark at 4 p.m. because it's middle of winter.
Oh.
So it's a little bit shocking in the middle of summer. And you lose your tan really quick.
How cold does it get there in their winter?
It's like a human cold, so it gets pretty bone chilling cold, but it's probably around 15, 20 degrees.
Okay, so cold.
Yeah, it gets cold. And then in the towns though, it doesn't snow a lot, so up on the mountains it'll be crazy, but it's just an island in the middle of Antarctic Sea down there, so it's freezing and the storms are pretty wild. We've had 7-day storms down there. Is that good if I talk about it for a minute, or?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I'm rolling if.
Cool. Yeah, so this is my bronze medal from the Olympics in Vancouver, and I've had a wide range of Olympic experience. It's been amazing. I have a gold medal. I have a bronze medal, but I often find that they're prestigious to look at. People want to see them. People want to touch them. People want to Instagram them, and it's amazing, what they represent to me. It's prestigious to look at for anybody, but I see what it cost me when I see this. And so even in comparing my bronze medal to my gold medal from Salt Lake, I actually almost have a higher value for my bronze medal because I know what it was like to really deal with my disappointment and overcome that 4th place finish in Torino and have the courage to really pursue my dreams again and see if I had what it took to get back up on top of the Olympic podium. So it was, it was a hard experience. I see some hard things when I see this medal, but it means a lot more to me because of what it cost, and I'm looking forward to this next year to see if I can't get one more of these in Russia.
Awesome. Let's just hold it up real quick. I'm gonna just get a. Let's see. There we go.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I don't need audio for this. I'm just getting. Sweet. Awesome.
Cool, guys.
That's great. Good.